Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Friday, October the 18th, 2024. Friday, October the 18th. Well, one thing I liked, Sasha wasn't playing. She was on a mission to prove her mother wrong. She went straight to Robert Scorpio, and Robert just sat there. And she says, "Oh, my mother, she's Holly Sutton." And Robert just looks at her and he goes, "And my mother says, you're my father." And Robert says, "The three other times Holly was in town, why didn't you mention that she was your mother?" And in my mind, I'm thinking, when have Sasha and Robert ever had conversations with each other? I mean, when? Sasha had no clue Robert was her mama baby daddy. She didn't know. So why would you even say, "Hey, Robert Scorpio, DA, Deputy DA, Holly Sutton is my mother"? You wouldn't, right? So anyway, she goes, "Why don't you seem shocked at this?" And Robert just looks at her. She goes, "But my mother lies about everything. She's trying to break up me and Cody. I don't know why. I don't know what her con or her angle is, but I need to get this taken care of." And so she goes, "I need a favor of you." And Robert says, "What?" "I need you to take a DNA test. We need to squash this." And so Robert said, "Why would you think Holly would lie about something like this?" And Sasha said, "Because that's what she does. She lies." She says, "And I always," he goes, "as soon as I could, I distanced myself from her. I want to forget she was ever my mother." you know? And Robert just looks at her and he goes, "Okay, well, when I get off work, I'll swing by GH and we could have the test done." And Sasha said, "You know what? General hospitals, labs are not secure enough. My mother, when she wants something done, she gets it done." So Robert says, "Oh, you feel she might manipulate the test so that it'll come out the way she says?" And Sasha says, "Yeah." So he goes, "Hold on." So Robert calls up his buddy Jack Brennan, who they are best friends now, said, "I need a favor." So then the next scene that they showed Robert and Sasha coming back into Robert's office, they had given their samples, and I guess Jack or Robert sent a courier over to the WSB lab to have it done. So I would say we're going to have the test results back on Monday. It could be within an hour, WSB, right? And so Holly said, "I'm going to tell you. My mother couldn't have made up a better lie, because if I had to have a father, I'd be happy as you." So Sasha goes, "But don't you get too attached, because those results are going to be back." And Robert just smiles at her. I mean, nobody has anything against Robert. I mean, come on now. Who really even knows? Robert doesn't make that big a splash anymore now that he's older. So we already can tell what's going to happen, and that's going to break up her and Cody and yada, yada, yada. Um, Finn. Finn is out, but Finn, I guess while he was still in rehab, applied for jobs and he got a job in Seattle and he bought a house there that's by a really good elementary school for Violet. And he's sending for Violet. So Chase is going to take Violet to Finn. I don't know if Brooklyn's going to go. I don't think Brooklyn's going. Chase is going. And Violet's leaving. So BLQ was all emotional. She had to leave the room. Said, "Oh, I gotta go." No, Violet said, "I gotta find my suitcase." Because as soon as she heard her dad was out, she's like, "Well, why isn't he here?" So he goes, "Because he's at your new place, or he's at your place." Okay, well, we got to get over there. And they said, "No, your place in Seattle." He got a job in Seattle. You're going to be going to a great school. She goes, "And you mean Garth won't be at that school?" All right. Violet was up for everything. She goes running out the room. "I got to find my suitcase." And that's when Brooklyn kind of broke up and she told Chase, you know what? I got to go take care of something. And she went downstairs and Lois and Ned were talking in the floor living room. And Brooklyn goes dashing through. And Lois, of course, stops her. And she tells her, and Lois was talking about why would he have to go to Seattle? I mean, they were her and Ned were saying they were going to miss Violet. Violet's part of the family. So they console Brooklyn, you know, and they tell her, you know what, you can lean on Chase with this information. And Chase was actually on his way down because Geo came in with his big suitcase, right? And he was helping Violet pack. So that gave Chase an opportunity to come downstairs, and he heard Brooklyn say, "Nope, nope, I got to be strong for Violet. I have to be strong for Chase, because I know he's feeling the same way." And he goes, "No, you don't have to be strong. You be yourself." And she turned and she like, "You weren't supposed to hear that." He goes, "I'm feeling the same way you are. You don't have to pretend to feel any other way." And little Violet told Chase that she was going to leave both her stuffed animals for his baby when it comes. And so he talked her into taking one of them. So he goes, "This way," because you've had these forever. "This way you'll always feel like you're home no matter where you're at." So she takes one of them and leaves one. So I guess this is the end to the actress Violet on the show. She did a very good job. My whole thing is, Finn was supposed to be gone for 90 days, right? 3 months. Finn left when? May, June, July, August. So really, he's gone 2 more months longer. If they were going to just write him out like this, they should have had him get out in the 90 days and do what they're having him do now. They wrote a storyline with poor Violet's missing her father, starting now to act up. I mean, for what? I thought they were going to recast or something, right? Well, they're not. Holly, no, no. Then Brooklyn Bingo realizes, "Hey, wait a minute. We haven't told Tracy." Or she may have even said, "Granny." So she called her because she was at GH visiting Lulu, and then Laura came in, and Laura ended up talking to her outside in the hallway, thanking her. She goes, "You stepped in and you were there for Lulu for years when I could not be." That's when she was in the mental institution, locked in her brain, right? She goes, "When you're locked in your head and you can't get out, for years, that was me." And so Tracy says, "Yeah, well, the only other person that could truly understand that is Lulu, right?" And Laura just looked at her, but she thanked her, and she thanked her for taking care of Ace. And Tracy was saying, "Yeah, they're having to have the nursery repainted." She goes, "What your grandson did to the walls of the nursery." And Laura's like, "What? Really? Wait, what?" And Tracy says, "Don't worry about it. I'm having it repainted. I'm paying for it all. I was happy to help." So then Lucky, he shows up because Elizabeth was watching little Ace. Because Laura called her. Could she come over? The nanny was running a little late. She wanted to get to the hospital to be with Lulu. So Elizabeth did, and the nanny showed up, but she and Lucky got a chance to talk. And that's why Elizabeth really was saying, yeah. And probably that's why Laura called her. So she and Lucky had a good talk, and they were talking about Aiden, and he was saying, "Tell me about what was he like and what did he like?" And so she started talking to him about Aiden, as they're looking at Ace. And the nanny came, and Elizabeth's getting ready to go to work. And she goes, "Okay, well, I'm going to go on and go to the hospital." And Lucky says, "I'm going to go too." And he goes, "I'm going to call me a ride share." And she's like, "You still don't have a car?" And I'm thinking, how would he get a car? Elizabeth, he just got there 3 days ago. I'm coming into town, don't know how long I'm staying. The first thing I'm going to do is buy a car? I don't think so. No, right? So anyway, um, she says, "Lucky, I'll give you a ride. We're going to the same place." She goes, "And by the way, you could serenade me on the way, or you could, whatever the word she used, I guess he used to sing to her." And they were talking about when they sang together at the nurses' ball and yada, yada, yada. So anyway, they leave on a happy note. Now, Holly is talking to Felicia at Maxie's place. And of course, Maxie's there, and Maxie is throwing every little shade dig she could, interjecting into the conversation. And she told him, "Sasha's my daughter." And Felicia's like, "Wait, wait, Sasha?" And Maxie says, "Our Sasha, my friend Sasha. She and I have been in each other's relationship for years. That's Sasha?" And so Felicia's like, "Sasha Gilmore?" And so she goes, "Yeah, and she, when she was found herself pregnant, she gave Sasha to her mother to raise. Now, mind you, she had Ethan. She never said, I wasn't in a position to raise a child, but you sure kept Ethan, right? You didn't dump Ethan off on your mother." And so she says, "But, when she got older, when she was 12, I came back and I took her with me and I taught her everything I knew about, my way of life." And Felicia's looking at her like, "Wait, what? Because you're a con woman, huh?" And she goes, "We went to London. I bought her the finest things and I taught her all the tricks." And she's like, "And boy, is she a natural." But for some reason, Sasha just, Maxie said, "Didn't want nothing to do with you." And Holly looks at Felicia's like, "Maxie, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, she just didn't want me to be her mother." And I'm thinking, yeah, you just show up 12 years later teaching me how to do bad stuff that grandma spent 12 years instilling good stuff in me, right? So anyway, she says, "I want you to come," telling Felicia, "I want you to convince Mac to talk to Cody and let him know." And so Felicia says, "You know what? For one thing, wait, wait, wait. You want the wrong Scorpio brother talked to. Before anybody gets talked to about anything, you need to go talk to Robert. And you need to tell Robert." And she's like, "Oh, okay. Oh, I suppose you're right. I need to go tell Robert." Mm-hmm. So she shows up in Robert's office, and she's like, "Robert, there's something I need to tell you. And oh, goodness, it's long overdue. And it's a bit difficult." He goes, "What? That I have a daughter, and her name is Sasha?" And Holly just looks at him, right? So we'll see how that conversation, the rest of it goes on Monday. But the typical part, but the best part, except Little Violet was a good part because I like that little actress. She's a little triple threat. So anyway, Sam called Christina and Molly over to Alexis's, right? And they show up. Alexis already knew, you could tell what Sam was going to tell him. And Sam tells them that she is going to be Lulu's donor. And they were like, "What? That's great." And they both were like, "Look, anything we can do for you before the surgery, after the surgery. Excuse me, y'all. You just name it, and we're there for you. So Sam was all happy about that. And they had a nice little family moment. So Christina says, good, because I thought you were calling us over here to talk about Rick. Now, what would Sam know about Rick? Sam was not with Christina and Alexis the night before. Why would Sam call Molly over to talk about Rick? See, Christina is begins with a S, ends with a T, starter. And Molly says, to talk about my dad. What talking about my dad? Oh, your dad, and Christina standing up. Your dad was having dinner with Ava Jerome, and they were drinking and cozy and laughing, and and she says, he ought to be ashamed, and he this, he that. And so Molly says, wait, what did you do, Christina? You should have walked away. No, I didn't walk away. I went over there, and she goes, Mom, this is Molly. Mom, you didn't let anything happen, did you? You guys both walked away. And Alexis says, well, I got there after it was over. And Molly says, after what was over? Christina says, I accidentally knocked the glass out of Rick's hand and it broke. And she goes, oh, Christina. And were you yelling? Because now Christina's up. And I this, I that. And she goes, were you loud and yelling? And were you the aggressor in a restaurant where it was full of people? All of these people, my dad will call as witnesses as to your behavior and how erratic you are. How could you do that? And Molly just laid into her. She goes, no, me? It is your fault. Oh, she goes, for once, my dad is the good dad. Oh, see? And Sam was like, hey, wait a minute. She's thinking, I'm calling. You guys are supposed to be hearing my good news and keeping in the moment with me. Christina instantly hijacked the moment like she always does. And this is what Molly says. It always has to be about Christina. It always has to be centered around Christina. And it does. I'm telling you, she's one of the most unlike characters in my eyes. It was Lucy Cole, but they don't show her. Just can't stand Lucy Cole. But Christina, there's just nothing that's acceptable about this grown woman's behavior. Nothing. Right? And Alexis is like, girls, wait. And Sam says, you know what? She stands up because Molly is her, she's at it. You would think Molly was the older one because Molly was on the attack. And Christina was on the instigating attack, right? And so Sam jumped. She goes, you know what? I don't need none of this. I am getting ready to go into surgery. And this is what you do, because they said, well, Sam, you need to pick a side. Whose side are you on? She goes, I am not picking not a one of your sides. This is Christina. You need to pick a side. I love you both. And I am not going to take not one side over the other. So Christina goes, oh, so you're going to just pretty much she's like diss us both instead of picking one of us so that you can be close. She goes, I'm not picking nothing. She says, as a matter of fact, I've got to go pick up my kids and take them to the Quartermains so I can go to the hospital. I'm out of here. And Sam gets up and she walks away, walks out the door. And Alexis laid into them both. Instead of you two leaning on each other, you're both grieving. And instead of you two leaning on each other, you're both trying to tear each other down. She goes, this has to stop. You should have done better by your sister. And they just sit there looking at Alexis. And I thought, Alexis, please. It might be better if you put Christina in check. She'll put Molly in check. You're the better one. You're the better thinker. You're the responsible one. You should be setting the example. No, heck no. Heck no. Right? So anyway, hopefully, and this is why they're gonna all be broken up, Molly and Christina, because the last true conversation they had with their sister ended the way it ended. And that is going to haunt them. Now, one thing that was interesting to me, you notice how Sam used to be all on Jason. You didn't tell me about this decision, that decision, the other decision. Sam ain't thought nothing of telling Jason she's getting ready to go have pretty much a major surgery procedure. Oh, because see, that only applies to him, not her, right? All right, so let's go to comment corner. Comment corner. There's 63 comments. So what I did was I just scrolled on my mouse, scroll on the ball. I let it stop somewhere in the middle. I'm getting ready to turn on my trusty, dusty timer. And I'm going to read from the middle to the bottom. All right. Anita says, daily recap lady. The question is, why did it not show up in the DNA test when Sasha switched her samples with her hair sample from Cody's DNA to Mac's DNA? That's interesting. Huh. I think they overlooked that. Excellent comment, Anita. It should have shown up in the DNA test that there was a connection. You're right. There should have been some kind of family connection. Good thoughts, Eve. This recap community, you guys are on it. Cindy says, that's right, because Mac is her uncle. I didn't think the writers knew where they were going in this direction back then. They didn't. They probably ignored it. And I guess they expected us to ignore it too. They did not know. This whole Sasha being Holly's daughter's thing is, come on now. Kimberly said, Tracy is so messy. She needs to stay in her lane. She is too busy. She needs to stay in a grandmother place. No, she doesn't. Tracy's fine. Kwan says Thursday, October 17th. Okay. Oh, did I say the wrong date? All right. Joan says, and who was the grandmom who raised Sasha? I know. Where did she come from? Or did she follow Anna's lead when they left Robin with Fiona all those years ago? Robin said she was her grandmother. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Annette says, beautiful grandmother. Sasha's DNA didn't match Mac's when she took Cody's test. Maybe Mac and Robert aren't real brothers. That would be interesting. And Patricia said, when Christina slapped the drink out of Rick's hand, it was one of the best and most exciting scenes in the whole week. Patricia says, they will do anything to keep Sasha because she's beautiful and she should have left the show when Brando left. Yeah, because there really has been no real need for her. Can't believe they are making Cody and Sasha cousins when they have fans who want them together. Seems the writers are throwing everything against the wall and seeing what sticks, and writing is crap at times. Yeah, it is. Peggy says, I was thinking the exact same thing. Why didn't the show that show some kind of lineage? Yeah, sloppy. Aisha says, hi, Daily Recap lady. Holly ended up losing that baby from that pregnancy. She stayed with Robert. Oh, because they fell in love. Oh, I did not know that. Ethan was conceived years later when Luke was with Laura when he ran into Holly somewhere in the world. Oh, see, thank you for clearing that up. DB says, dun, dun, dun. Why didn't General Hospital mess up Cody and Sasha? I waited so long. Me too. Scott might as well pack up and go into the Quartermain home. Um, Sam's last days will be heartbreaking, but strangely, I won't miss her. DL says the scene with Diane and Dante and Sam's blended family, so sad. That is the last time we will see this. I know that's what I said yesterday too. Hate that they're killing off Sam McCall. Seriously, it's an end of an era. I don't know why they're doing that. I really don't. The best triangle would be Sam versus Lulu. It really would have been. Um, Care Bear says a lot of words come to mind when describing Rick. None of them are polite. DB says he and Ava are about to do what they do and get in all kinds of trouble. And then Care Bear says Rick's character has one goal in life, destroying Sunny, no matter the consequences, no matter who he hurts in the process, including Molly. But it's clear that he doesn't think much of his daughter. Sonny's a mobster, but at least he loves his children. And you know what's interesting to me? Just how quickly they made Molly accept the fact that it's your father that's going to get Ava Jerome off. That's what's interesting to me. You and TJ are getting your story, banding together so that Ava can pay because it's Ava's fault. But yet you did not go to your father, Molly, and pull the daughter card, period. And then Sue says, so tired of all the unknown kids popping up. Good night, Robert is too old to have another kid show up. I don't think Robert he's only had Robin, right? Why didn't they bring Robin's kids back instead? Give Anna and Robert more to do. I'm not so interested in the Davis ladies, never have been. Could Lulu wake up already? No, yeah, the new kidney's probably gonna give her the jump start. So anyway, WWE fans says, so Sasha is Sasha's Holly's daughter. Not sure if I believe Holly or not about Cody and Sasha being cousins. I think they're going to be watch because Robert and her are having that test completely done incognito, and I think it's going to be. And then Superman said, subscribe. Thank you. I need to say that more because I like, oh, you subscribed. Thank you, Superman or Superman. Uh, because I like you. Also, bipolar disorder is genetic with a 10% chance of the child inheriting it. Yeah, but I do know. And I would be interested to know if the 10%, if that's a very low estimate, they're adults now, but adults and even my friends, my kids, adult kids friends that are bipolar, their parents are bipolar too. One of them, at least one of them is bipolar as well. And that's like, I think that statistic is higher than 10%, but I did not look it up. Just like Morgan had it, I'm pretty sure Christina does too. Christina's older than Morgan. As a matter of fact, my ex-husband, my second ex-husband, he was bipolar. Didn't know that till after I got married to him. And he had 4 kids, 2 of the 4 bipolar as well. Linda says, daily recap, lady, please stay real. Love you, sis. Mary says, I read that TJ and Jordan got the baby. The baby is not dead. No. And they got the baby out of town, hid the baby, can't wait until they find. No, I don't believe that. I believe the surrogate has a baby more than I believe TJ and Jordan got that baby, because how could they have snuck into TJ could have snuck into the operating room, but no, I don't believe that. He was too hurt and too broken up. P. Merle says something has to give here. What happens when Sasha switched her hair sample? Yep, with Cody's DNA test. A familiar match would have shown. Yes, Holly just doesn't want Sasha with a lowly stable hand. They won't. Why won't she tell Robert first? Please pick an independent lab for the DNA test, which they did. And then Tina says, exactly. Joan says to Tina, would have been better if she was Ethan's twin and could have maybe been a match for Lulu, and be happy with Cody. And then we have Jacarly says, thank you. I was just about to write this same. So just rewrote Sasha's whole history and gave her a deadbeat trash of a mother. She has come to town twice and not went to see Sasha. Holly said she had been keeping track of Sasha, so she heard and saw Sasha's downfall with drugs, yep, and didn't do anything. When she lost her baby and then her husband was murdered, uh, then was thrown into a mental institution. She didn't do anything for her daughter. Just wow. So my question is, did Ethan know about Sasha? And how long did he know? I know those are some good questions. Absolutely good questions. How long did she know? Did he know? And we're at 10 minutes, everybody. So that's it for Comment Corner. Comment Corner, great comments. You guys are thinking just like I'm thinking. They really are trying to change stuff up with the whole DNA test. Yeah, that would have shown. So we'll see what they make the WSB test come out to be. I'll be back Monday with another daily recap of General Hospital.